Julen Lopetegui is getting unfavourably compared with Avram Grant. I say unfavourably, not unjustly, just so we're clear. Rightly so, actually, because his record is bad. He's actually got a worse, whatever, win percentage, loss percentage record than Grant had at this point in his West Ham career. But you don't need to look at those stats. We've got far more recent evidence, and that's a comparison to David Moyes. Now, David Moyes is very in vogue now because, look, with every loss that Lopetegui has, David Moyes starts to look better. History's like that, right? That's just what I was talking to my kids about a camping trip that we had the other day, and they were talking about all this fun stuff, and it was an excellent camping trip. What they'd completely forgotten was on the day, if you've ever been camping, you have to get the tent packed down. You have to be out there. It was by 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. It was absolutely hammering it down, much like it is now, by the way. So please excuse the background noise. We got soaked, we got drenched, we had our most miserable day. But you don't remember that. You just remember the good parts of the holiday. You don't remember the horrible time you had getting drenched, getting freezing. We all had to stop off at a service station to sort of warm ourselves under hand dryers. That's how bad it was, right? Anyway, it's a little bit like that with David Moyes, where we're just remembering the good times of holiday, and actually the last part has, by and large, been expunged from... not from everyone's memory, but I think a lot of people. And the worse Lopetegui does, the more people call for David Moyes. And now it's become a serious question. And let's call it a top source at the club was asked last night. David Moyes was in the crowd, as was the camera panned to him on a couple of occasions during the game against Man City. And the top source at the club was asked, would you have him back? And the reply was, no, I really like David Moyes, or I've always got on with him, something like that. But during his last 6 months, the defence were terrible, which they were, and I think this is really the point, because I know I've mentioned it a lot, but we can use those statistics rather than Avram Grant, because I'm just going to explain now why David Moyes' last season defensively at West Ham was terrible. Lopetegui looks to be even worse, and it is worse because he's just bought a load of defenders, right? We conceded 74 goals in the Premier League last season. That was a record, West Ham's record, basically, in the Premier League. We'd never conceded more goals in Premier League history. It was absolutely highlighted because what the unnamed West Ham insider club source said the last 6 months, it really was. Actually, we weren't too bad. We weren't shipping loads and loads of goals at the start of the season. But you will remember this, and this is, I think this is my frustration when I see people calling for David Moyes to come back. I remember us being 4 goals down, possibly within the first half hour against Crystal Palace. Something needs to be done. He was there on a touchline, not doing anything, just looking grumpy. I do believe it was either that one or the Fulham game. We were losing 5-0 to Fulham, and he just went and sat down on the bench. No answers, no attempt to change it, no substitutions, none of it. It was bad last season. Really, really bad. You know, it was Arsenal put 6 past us, Liverpool put Palace put 5 past us, Liverpool put 5 past us. We were getting hammered. We were conceding and shipping loads and loads of goals. And 74, I'm not sure if it ended up like that, but I do remember, I think it was possibly only Sheffield United had, there was one point quite near the end of the season, only Sheffield United, who were terrible, by the way, only they had a worse defence than us last season. My point is, it was bad. This season, it's worse. I don't even know why I'm smiling. We have conceded 39 goals, 20 games. Obviously, you can do your own mathematics. We are on course here. If everything continues as it has been at the start of the season, we will concede 78 goals, which obviously will break the record again. Now, you could say, well, hold on, that bit hasn't happened yet, but for you to think we won't concede 39 goals again in the second half of the Premier League season, you'd have to be seeing some signs of recovery, some signs that defence is getting better. It's not. I don't see those signs. I really don't. I thought there was some improvement yesterday, but not in the defending. I thought Fulkrug looked fitter and better. I thought Somerville looked a bit better. But there was nothing going on with the defending that gave me Well, actually, I was going to say, gave me any hope. The attacking didn't give me any hope. That's what I was explaining yesterday. I can't enjoy the fact that Fulkrug looks a bit better because I just think he's going to leave. I can't enjoy the fact that maybe Somerville looked good because I think he'll get dropped as soon as Lopetegui gets the chance. So it doesn't give me hope. I just thought we performed a little bit better. But that's, some in attack. We did 17 shots, great. I think looking at the defence, there's no glimmer, there's no hope. I'm not seeing anybody and thinking, oh, they're improving. And that makes it all the worse. And I think, once again, we keep talking about this binary stuff. It's like there's got to be a good guy, and a pantomime villain, and a good guy. There's got to be a Luke Skywalker and a Darth Vader. So if Lopetegui is crap, then Moyes has got to be brilliant. It's just not the case. Personally, I think we started to decline after Prague, and we saw that. But David Moyes was not a manager that looked like he could sort of defence out by the end. So I think there's a lot of people calling for him to, be brought back, and he would improve us. I do actually think, by the way, let me just say this, I do think David Moyes would do a better job than Lopetegui, but I think almost anybody would do a better job than Lopetegui between now and the end of the season. Lopetegui's had a lot of money spent on that defence, though, so I mean, but let's be fair, David Moyes didn't have to, didn't put a defence together that had a load of loan signings. Kurt Zouma was on more money than any of those guys in defence are on now. He cost 25 million. He bought Nigel Gerd for 30 million. We're not dealing with somebody that wasn't able to spend money on defence here. But so we got a couple of managers who both spent big on a defence and in the end couldn't organise a defence, it seems. And I look at Lopetegui now and I'm looking at him and I don't know. I'll just be repeating myself. I say I don't know why the board feel the need to carry on with him. He's not going to get sacked after what happened yesterday. And I do feel, and I mentioned it in yesterday's video, that the defeat wasn't big enough. It wasn't heavy enough. And I can only see it going one way. So like yesterday I said, I just don't think we'll get into the top 10. I think we'll finish 13th, 14th or 15th. And as I said, I think even 15th is feasible because I think Palace look a little bit better than us at the moment. And I just think if you're at the club and you're looking at that, why aren't you... It's weird. It's weird. I understand. I think it's right. So I think it's right for the club to say, actually, we're not going to appoint David Moyes because he was very, very bad towards the end. And defensively, he couldn't organise stuff. But if you're going to use that same rationale, then you might as well just apply it to what's happening now and get something done. Jean-Claire Todibo... Look, he might be injured, he might not. Perhaps he came on, was it 55 minutes, something like that? He might have come off with an injury. But even before that, does it look like he's getting vastly better? No. I don't think he's the worst culprit, by the way. And it's just because Mavropanos is playing badly doesn't mean I think Todibo is necessarily going to play well. But I would like to see him given a run in the team. Whether you're going to get that one with him getting substituted with an injury, I don't know. But it's not like Lopetegui has used the time that he's had with Todibo and played him all the time. I think he carried on picking Mavropanos. I just don't think he can do it. I just don't think he has got the necessary... And I don't want to be overly mean to Lopetegui. I've got nothing particularly bad to say about him as a person. I've got every sympathy for him. He's just lost his dad. I don't even know why he's here. He's lost his dad. You're here, he's struggling to try and find time to get back to Spain. He's got the ultimate out now. He could really go. And I've never really enjoyed watching someone struggle, but struggle he is. Was really interested. I don't know if you watched Match of the Day. It was interesting watching Match of the Day. Even they said that Man City were not backfiring on all cylinders, and you could see that they're not. I don't think I saw a single world-class performance from any City player. I know I said it in yesterday's video, but, possibly Haaland in the end. But, we gifted City so much that it's hard to really heap any praise upon them. So like I said, I think they look like a team that are in recovery. As I used the phrase I used, recovery, but, they look like they're going to need a rebuild. And I am conscious that every time I make an excuse about the other team. I've been doing it since Wolves. I said against Wolves that we got lucky because they should have had a couple of penalties. I said we got lucky, made excuses for Bournemouth, made excuses for Brighton. I even made excuses for the Southampton game. But we were lucky. We were lucky that Onuachu was as bad as he was against Southampton, because they would have beaten us. They created more chances than us. You've seen yesterday. I can't have been the only one who watched that 5-0 demolition of Southampton yesterday and started thinking, even though West Ham were not playing, but started thinking about West Ham during that. We are so far off the mark that it's unbelievable. I actually got to, while I say that, I've got to address a. No, I realise I'm talking to 1% of the people here. 99% sort of got what I said yesterday. Just because I said I don't think we're going to get relegated doesn't mean I'm happy with Lopetegui and happy with what I've seen. I just think it's not a good thing. I'm not praising the team by saying I think we'll finish 15th. I'm not happy with that. I'm just trying within my brain to find some reasoning. And it can only be that the club have written off this season and are happy enough. I don't think the club are thinking, oh, we're going to finish 15th. That's sort of what I think. 15th, 14th. I'm not going to be too far out, really, on that. But do I think we're going to finish 18th? No, I don't. But I'll tell you what is going to give you, if you don't know this, I'm sure you will already. You've only got to look on the comments on yesterday's video or on social media. Enough people are making statistical points to demonstrate how bad West Ham are. Ipswich have got a better defence than us. And they're not even really, I can't claim to have seen loads of Ipswich, but I wouldn't call Ipswich a defensive team. Any time I've seen Kieran McKenna's team play, I've not thought, they're just sitting tight at the back. They're not. For them to have a better defence than us, that's embarrassing. I've got nothing against Ipswich. I don't even need to say it. I'm not insulting Ipswich. There's nothing wrong with them at all. And I don't think I really feel embarrassed by football. I think it's hard to be embarrassed by something somebody else does. You can embarrass yourself in life, but to be embarrassed by something a third party does is. I hear people say, "Oh, that's embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing." I don't feel it that much. When I saw that stat, I did. Oh, that is embarrassing. That one is. Particularly given that they're just a promoted team, particularly given how long West Ham have been in the Premier League for, particularly given the amount of money that we spent, the size of club that not only that we are, but that we strive and attempt to be with the stadium move and stuff like that. It's bad. And I think, I don't know about anyone else, but it almost feels like a bit of a hangover today, because we get the loss, and it's just a loss you've got to accept. And like I said in yesterday's video, I think we're perfectly capable of getting something out of the next 3 games. I don't think we're going to do well in the next 3 games. Aston Villa, Fulham, and Crystal Palace. It's hard to say with the Aston Villa one, because we don't know what they're going to do. Maybe their eyes off the ball. Maybe they're prioritising elsewhere. And you'd understand why they would do that. Premier League, Champions League, of course. So they might, I'm not saying throw the cup, but they might put out a second string. That being said, even their second string we might well struggle against, particularly, Leon Bailey don't start every game, does? I don't think he does anyway, but he looked at him yesterday and he looked really good. And they've got a number of players that look decent. So it's hard to call that Aston Villa game, but I think it's most likely we lose against Villa, lose against Fulham, lose against Palace, but we're not so bad that we can't get something in one of those games. We've already proven that. And here's the problem. We're not the worst team in the league, and that's what's keeping Lopetegui in his job. So I think the order goes Aston Villa, Fulham, Palace. I think the following could happen. I think we could lose to Aston Villa. We get a point, maybe not even a deserved point against Fulham, and we lose to Palace. He's still in his job. Anyway, that's depressing thought, isn't it? And I just don't know. I honestly don't know what. I don't know what the club are trying to build. I don't know what they want. The only thing I can assume is that we actually have a manager lined up for next season. That's the only thing I can assume. We've already got someone lined up, so they're seeing if we can struggle through. But by doing that, we're still throwing away this season, and I'm really, really uncomfortable with that.